What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the You Know Ball podcast. I am your host, Trill Bro Dude, and for the first time in a while, Sam, it's been just me and you for a little bit now. People probably starting to get sick of us. We have a guest on today. We have Trev, aka Hegelbon, from the No Cartridge podcast. What's going on, Trev?
Hey guys, how you doing? It's really nice to be here. Hello to apparently every single person I know who listens to podcasts. People who when I mention this and I say, "Oh yeah, I know them," I also have a podcast. They're surprised I have a podcast. So this is exciting that I'm able to talk to them for the first time.
It's got to be crazy for you to, know someone personally who listens to the podcast and not have them recognize that you're someone with the podcast. Like if your name was Colin, for example, and you still hadn't figured out that you personally know someone named Sam and brought up the podcast to him.
Shout out to Colin from Fishtown, who Sam was having a conversation with and was like, "This guy's just like you. He even likes Marcus Smart."
Yeah, those guys. Colin, brother.
Twins.
He literally texted me after I did this on the last day. He must have just missed the last episode. I was like, anything to say? And he just so hopefully maybe I was too lightheaded last time. So this time we're just
this guy's gonna wake up with a picture of you. It'll say "Don't trust his lies." YKB memento.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's getting all the tattoos. He's getting a tattoo of 9/11 on one shoulder. He's getting the
Marcus Smart's face.
The other, don't trust him. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Sam, baby secret equals Sheehan.
It is funny because because of Nice Sheehan, when I need to look you up for to send you a DM or something, I still put Sam Sheehan into the search bar. It doesn't get me anywhere.
No,
many Sam Sheehans have been removed from Twitter.
They're all gone.
We've lost quite a few.
The fallen.
Jack and Elon.
Yeah, Sam Sheehan NBA, Nice Sheehan, NBA, Sam Sheehan.
Possibly Sam Sheehan NBA, and I was gonna say there's multiple variations on that one.
We've lost many.
Unfortunately,
I'm someone separate. An NBA baby secret is someone totally separate. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, Nice Sheehan was just a nice girl who also happened to love the NBA and Japanese video games, which we will be talking about both later.
It's a shame you guys never actually hooked up, but we were all rooting for you.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta say she kind of looked like me, but she was a girl, so Yeah,
definitely real.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Underdog is used to us joking about national tragedies leading into the ad. And in a way, that is. So let's go right into the Underdog.
Speaking of national tragedies, Underdog listeners, we often, do the higher or lowers on here, and we are dog shit at them in basketball. Listeners will know the surest way to guarantee yourself the winner is to fade our picks. However, this week is different. For the start of football season, I have selected a guaranteed to win 1:00 window, 5 fecta of higher or lower.
5 picks.
5 picks.
Wow.
5 picks.
This is 20 times. We have Kirk Cousins higher than 3.5 rushing yards. That seems pretty juicy. Kirk Cousins, he breaks containment all the time. We also,
there are a lot of picks on here, folks. If you want to go on Underdog and look, I'm assuming that the Vikings play at 1 p.m. because no one cares about them.
Yes, they do. Yes. All of these are 1 p.m. Games. So,
okay, good to know.
Yeah. We also have Baker Mayfield over a half an interception. So,
okay.
I feel like Baker Mayfield, that's higher on that. That's pretty good. So this is the risky one now. We have Justin Tucker, kicker for the Baltimore Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
He has a higher on extra points made at 2.5. So we need 3 touchdowns, but Baltimore is playing Houston, who I think has a shot to be one of the worst teams in the NFL this year.
Oh, yeah.
So
good thing they own their own first-round pick next year.
We have Jahan Dotson with receiving yards. He has 40. Well, it was 42.5 what I got it. 43.5. I still like that number on a higher.
On higher.
We're going higher. And then Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville quarterback, higher on 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Okay, so we have removed from this pick haul, we have removed Saquon Barkley, who, if you go on Underdog, you use the promo code SLOP to get a $100 deposit match. You can also go on and you can get a mystery pick'em. Right now it's Saquon Barkley. All he has to do is get a yard. Let's hope he does that before he gets injured, like he does every year. But for now, you could go on there and it's basically a free pick, and then you just have to hit one other pick in order to take home some money. So go on there and do that. Now, you said higher on his passing yards, you said?
His passing touchdowns.
Passing touchdowns. Okay, so
Only
you're feeling
needs 2 against Indianapolis.
1.5.
Yeah, that
Okay.
seems like a gimme.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you put $10 on Sam's 5-fecta, that you should definitely listen to him, you get $200. So if Sam is right on that, he's done his research.
Yeah.
Sam
I've studied the runes.
We'll be taking home $200. So go on Underdog today.
Wow.
Use the promo code SLOP. We're going to be doing it all throughout football season. We drafted a team last week. Trev was there. It was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun, except for when someone selected Taji Sharp and he's not currently on a roster.
Like
in the fourth round
or something.
third round. Yeah, that was
Rules.
great.
So
Yeah.
good.
Honestly, after watching the Chiefs game the other night, just sign him. There's no way he could be worse than Kadarius Toney.
Mm-hmm.
It's
true.
impossible.
The Kadarius Toney cope has been so good.
It's
So good.
It's beautiful to me because I remember there was a time when Kadarius Toney had a really good game in his rookie year, and I had to hear from Giants fans about how he was better than Devontae Smith. So
Come on.
it's beautiful.
Only Giants fans believe that. No one else ever believed that.
I mean, and also the fact that he killed the Eagles in the Super Bowl with that punt return. It was great to see him get a little bit of karma on opening night. But before we get into the NFL talk, which we are going to be talking a little bit about the NFL in the Patreon section of this episode, let's talk a little bit about the failures that are the U.S. FIBA World Cup team. Second straight FIBA World Cup where they did not bring home the gold. A disgrace to our nation.
I'm looking at. Listen. I'm not known for my football or my basketball aptitude, which is why I haven't been on the podcast yet. But despite you guys just asking me every single week, I just I have to let nicely.
We wore you down. We wore you down.
Fine. Okay, fine. But I don't know who these. I know Jordan Bell and I know Justin Jackson.
Wait, what?
What
are you looking at?
You might be looking at an old one.
I must be. Yeah.
I was like, hold on.
Wait,
that would be amazing if it was.
Actually, we should do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would love. I would love if we said guys who had been out of the league.
This might have. I was gonna say this might have been.
I was wondering, but I was like, Joe Johnson is still playing. What's going on?
These are probably the qualifying teams that play when it is NBA season. This is probably a little bit dated. So the thing is, and a lot of people have gotten on Joel Embiid, and they don't fundamentally understand kind of how international ball works. Not that I'm like the most plugged in. I also don't watch a ton of it. But in order to qualify, you have to have, for example, Isaiah Thomas of Celtics fame, who is not in the NBA anymore, still will play for the qualifying team sometimes because they just need guys when there are NBA games on. So they'll play for the FIBA qualifiers and they'll play for the Olympic qualifiers. Guys like Jordan Bell hasn't been in the league for a few years, but that's generally speaking the case. The reason why
this is a much more serious team. Okay.
Look, Joel Embiid is not playing for Cameroon because of the fact that they can't qualify. Him and Pascal Siakam are the only NBA players, even remotely close to NBA players from Cameroon, and they can't play during the season because the qualifiers are during that. So Joel, he doesn't support colonialism and imperialism by playing for France and America. If he wants to play internationally, he has to play for one of them. So in defense of Joel, just to clear that up, but that's a common thing that happens a lot in international ball, which is
I feel much more at peace reading this a roster.
Yes.
I was like, someone was named DeJuan Thompson, and I was like, I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah, I was going to say
his name.
I don't think I know who that is.
Yeah, I was like, this is the sub G League. But yeah, okay, Anthony Edwards, Michael Bridges, Jalen. Okay, so this is a good team.
Yes,
Yeah.
very good. Yeah, a lot of talent. Not the A squad though. And that's the thing that everyone forgets when it comes to FIBA is that the Olympic team will always have the majority of the best players. Last time it was Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum. Tatum tends to play, as Sam knows, Tatum tends to play basically every single year for no matter what it is. And this is the first year that he didn't play in international ball for the FIBA World Cup. But this is basically still the B squad for America. Like Steph Curry's not there,
right?
Kevin Durant, none of those guys. So the expectation coming off of this loss to Germany, which happened, I streamed for the whole game. It was kind of a pathetic performance defensively.
Seems extremely painful. Yeah.
The thing about this team is that, and we'll get into it, Sam. I saw you. First off, Sam, do you want to take a victory lap on Jaren Jackson Jr.?
The problem is that I've pivoted now. Marcus Smart's on the Grizzlies.
Oh, true. I didn't.
But Marcus Smart hasn't had a chance to sort of meld young Jaren Jackson into a defensive player of the year. The real defensive player of the year, Marcus Smart.
Sure.
Who's better than Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, like, because I think that was part of it. I just think this was pretty open and shut. A coaching disaster from Steve Kerr, and I was kind of getting some pushback from Warriors fans about this. And it's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, Walker Kessler's really good. It's like kind of crazy to me when you need rebounding and defense to just keep him on the bench. Like, at least try him out. Like, if he gets cooked, he gets cooked. But like, you're getting destroyed here, and it's like the shooting numbers were also kind of really good.
They were amazing offensively. That was the thing that I was laughing at, because we do this every time that they lose. First off, the A team generally never loses. The B team in these FIBA things can kind of lose sometimes. And Caitlin Cooper tweeted this yesterday, and she's like, it's our favorite tradition of naming guys who wouldn't have helped at all, but because we lost, they would have helped. My favorite one was Trae Young.
That would have been so good.
We defend Trae Young probably more than most podcasts.
Get him in there.
Yeah. The thing that the FIBA World Cup team was missing was defense and rebounding. Literally the two things that Trae Young doesn't do at all. But, there were a lot of people taking victory laps on guys who struggled yesterday, like Jalen Brunson, and defensively, Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards had some brain farts in that game. But ultimately, I do think that I'll give Steve Kerr a little bit of a pass, because Walker Kessler was not good early in these games. And I do think that there is a level of politics in all of this as well. The majority, look, maybe it's boomerism, but the majority of guys that were playing real minutes are like all-star level talents, or just in that conversation, sub all-star. And the majority of them, except for like Paolo Banchero, have played in the NBA for like 4 to 7 years. Yeah. So I think that those guys tend to get the coach's trust and confidence, just like every year we see in the NBA, where they have to lean into more of their boomer tendencies. And, Doc Rivers loved to do this with the Sixers, where he never played anyone unless they remember, what they had a favorite song off of Nevermind by Nirvana. I
actually had an operation. I paid a doctor to remove all the parts of the Doc Rivers Sixers from my head. You saying that is the one reason I know there was some. It was a success.
It's like eternal sunshine.
I was gonna say, Kristen Dunst and Mark Ruffalo came into your house in the middle of the night and put a little strainer on your head and wiped away all of those memories.
Doc's in my dream begging me not to take it all away. Like, no.
Daryl Morey looks like Elijah Wood for some reason. It's very
but it is interesting though. Like, why didn't let me ask this like a total idiot. Why didn't Brandon Ingram play at all?
So Ingram actually was out, quote unquote. Look at what anyone who's listening on audio, I'm doing air quotes. He was out yesterday with a respiratory infection. Brandon Ingram was terrible in a few of these games. It's hard to explain because international ball is. And in a way, calculator rats are a little bit vindicated when it comes to some of this stuff. Because, for example, a guy like Brandon Ingram, I remember a year ago, someone like Seth Partnow said that he would rather have Dorian Finney-Smith than Brandon Ingram on the Milwaukee Bucks. And his reasoning was he's not going to get the ball that much, and he's a defensive liability. So I'd rather have a guy who's going to stand in the corner, shoot threes, and try on defense and be a good, off-ball guy who can guard the other team's best player. And in international ball, the U.S. just had a ton of defensive liabilities on the team, and Brandon Ingram was one of them. So when the shot wasn't falling, he was like a massive negative. They replaced him in the starting lineup with Josh Hart, who is literally defense and rebounding king, and they saw a lot of improvement. And then by the end, Ingram was sat out, quote, like, I don't think he was I think they just needed an excuse to not play him.
Yeah.
But
that makes sense.
But yeah, so there were a lot of I just think that the roster was mismanaged. Like, I think that they built an all-star team instead of building a team that made sense for international ball. And once again, they still only lost this game by 2 points, but like when you're going up against Germany, a team that has Franz Wagner, Dennis Schroeder, Daniel Tice, some NBA talent, and more importantly, some fucking continuity, which the USA team has literally every year. They turn it over and turn it over.
Sure.
There was a few years where they had like a lot of the Celtics guys were playing for a few years, so they had some continuity. But like last time they played in the World Cup, they came in 7th place. Like they're going to place higher than they placed last time. And I think that the conversation going around is, of course, the talent has improved around the world. I mean, a few years ago, Germany did have Dirk Nowitzki at one point. Yeah, but I was gonna say, but like a few years back, most nations didn't have an all-star level talent like a Franz Wagner on their team to kind of lead it. And then in addition to that, they have those guys play together all the time in international ball, and they've been playing together since Franz and his brother were like 17 and 20. So yeah, no, I do think that other nations just have that continuity factor, and then the USA just kind of built a weird fucking team.
You're making this too complicated. There's one reason and one reason only. That is Daniel Tice. Incredible winner. Tice Hive, rise up. This was Daniel Tice's moment.
How dare you take away any shine from Andreas Obst?
He was a bucket, dude. I was like, how do you pronounce this guy's name? His name sounds like the thing that people use for Twitch. OBS.
I just misspelled OBS. I was like, why am I looking at this basketball? Oh, okay, I had a T.
Yeah, his brother Connor's a really successful musician.
He also has some bright eyes.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Hey.
I'm learning about this game from a write-up on as.com, which I guess is
ass.com.
It's not ass.com. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like a German website, but like one of the
propaganda from the Germans.
Yeah. It's written by someone named Jeffrey May, but it sounds like AI wrote it because it has just a lot of really funny lines. Like, basketball is not a sprint, but a marathon. And there were doubts that Germany could maintain their lightning speed throughout. But the line that I'm hearing is, overall, the Germans were that most Germanic of things, efficient.
What?
I don't know.
That's in the article. I didn't say that. That's in the article.
I wouldn't want to put that on anything and publish it personally.
Yeah, I don't want my byline on that.
Yeah.
But they were efficient. I mean, Obst, I think, shot 8 for 9.
Yeah, he was incredible. And honestly, like you said, like watching this game, also the Daniel Tice thing. My counter to Daniel Tice playing so well, Eric Spoelstra was on the sideline. I would have just brought Bam Adebayo to the game and had him sit and watch the game so that Daniel Tice would get flashbacks to the bubble when Bam Adebayo dunked him into the shadow realm. Yeah. And it's possible that could have worked. I mean, also would have triggered memories for Sam.
I still think Daniel, I mean, he didn't do a good job, but Daniel Tice was mostly innocent. Kemba Walker was just like, Nick Nurse will pay for his crimes, and he is paying right now by the fact that he has to coach
Yeah. He also cursed the Phillies in that one game.
Yeah, when he threw out the first pitch. Yeah. It's, man, no, never
Well,
mind.
I was
I'll
gonna
save that for the Patreon wall.
What I was gonna say was that I've been calling Nurse a basketball fascist for years, and we all know fascists love baseball. So
Yeah.
We do. It's true. Yeah.
as Trev wears his 1980s World Series,
Back when things were better.
The baseball. He really is, instead of the baseball crank, the basketball crank. Have the new basketball crank. That would be incredible.
But I will
love
say,
Springsteen. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Trill,
that's true.
your point about like continuity is really interesting because like I feel like and like you could make a whole argument about this that I don't really care about, which is like we don't care about the international stage as Americans, and maybe that's true, maybe that's not, but like it is interesting.
We care less.
Oh yeah, totally.
We care less compared to other nations. Like,
but it is interesting how like it's not just that we don't care as much; it's also that like it like all of our teams have to represent the fashion of the NBA at the like immediate moment of it, and the NBA is such a changing league. Like,
sure,
yeah.
What player you'd want on your team like most? I mean, look at our friend Bill Simmons' trade value rankings. Like, he's changed,
Yeah.
Well,
also
so, like,
the style of play changes, and a lot of people have been
that
bringing that up with the small ball thing. Like, the fact is, the USA went into these with no true center that has real experience playing international basketball, and they had to play Jaren Jackson Jr., who is a 4 in the NBA. He's a power forward who plays with Steven Adams, who's a traditional center. And they would then, when he was on the bench, they would either play Bobby Portis sometimes, who's also a 4 in the NBA, and then they would play Paolo Banchero at the 5, who's also a 4 in the NBA, which hurts the defense and rebound. So this small ball revolution, while it might work in the NBA in certain instances, internationally, it has proven to be a little bit ineffective when your talent isn't so massive like it was in the Olympics 2 years ago that it just doesn't matter. Like if Steph Curry and Kevin Durant and LeBron James and whoever,
of course they would,
Devin Booker, Tatum, they probably win. But because of the fact that they had the flaw with the defensive thing, they were trying to play smaller, they were getting destroyed defensively and rebounding wise, it all just was kind of the perfect formula for them to lose in this game.
Well,
sure.
I also back to Trev's point though, I think that is like really interesting, that kind of what the FIBA narrative became for Americans and like people kind of talking about this game was that it kind of became a vehicle for Anthony Edwards at a certain point, right?
Sure.
Like that was kind of what that's all I ever heard. I wasn't paying like the most attention to this FIBA stuff.
To be fair, he crushed during the games that didn't matter as much, though. Like as they went on, he was good, but he struggled. Like not as much as some of the other, like Brunson was getting killed defensively, Halliburton was getting killed defensively, Reeves was getting killed defensively. But honestly, offensively, they needed those guys.
Well, I guess it's just what I'm saying is like, it's kind of interesting that this is a little bit of a a mixer just in terms of like alpha. Who's the alpha among these young guys? You know what I'm saying? Because like Halliburton's really good. Brunson was a fucking all-star last year, like, and so it's just kind of interesting to see, like, you put all these guys on a roster, who does Steve Kerr pick? And then like, you kind of see Anthony Edwards get the lion's share of the, shots and possessions and everything like that. And that kind of stamps Anthony Edwards in a way as like, this is the new up and coming young guy. And you kind of saw the media narratives like follow that. And I think that's going to carry over into the season. I think the Wolves are going to be a pretty sexy pick this year. I'm already talking myself back into the Wolves. So Charlie with the football.
I was going to say, the further we get away from basketball, the more I fall in love with the Minnesota Timberwolves every year. I might have to kind of reel myself in here. Last year, I think I picked them to be the 2 seed or the 3 seed, and they were the 7 seed.
Don't they still have the Frenchman?
Yeah, they still have Rudy.
Yeah.
But the thing with Rudy is like, Rudy is still a good regular season player. And once they traded D'Angelo Russell last year, he was much more effective on offense because Mike Conley knows how to play with him. And D'Angelo Russell pretty much went on record saying he's never going to pass to Rudy Gobert, which in a way I respect.
Yeah,
I do love it. I mean, I don't know, like it again, like this sort of speaks to that international thing. Like this is why, like teams when I've listened to, I mean, I'm a long time first time here, but like, when I listen to your guys' analysis of like NBA basketball, and yours is the only analysis I listen to, like the thing you say a lot is that like these teams kind of need to learn to play together. I mean, it's been a sort of constant critique of yours, Trill, of the Sixers, is that like they don't have any continuity. So you bring Harden in, Harden sort of starts to learn how to play with everyone, but you don't really have enough time to learn. And now it's like, well, Harden's not going to be in. So who like Embiid doesn't know how to play with. Yeah, it's exactly. And you sort of think like, okay, like thinking about that thing with D'Angelo Russell and Gobert, like that could happen on a USA FIBA team. That's not going to happen on the German team, right? Like all these guys know each other's strengths. All these guys are comfortable with each other. They're going to pass to each other. Like it does sort of point to the fact that maybe like, I feel like there's especially in the know nothings like myself, there is like a narrative about the dream team, right? The 90s dream team, like the Jordan, not Pippen. I forget.
It was everyone. It was
Jordan.
It was Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. It was everyone.
Yeah, everyone was on that team, and it was just like they crushed everyone. And like I feel like since then, that kind of still holds up the world of international basketball for America in a way that is just simply not there in reality, because like they can't flex their talent in the same way.
Well, it's gonna be interesting to see in the Olympics. Like I think we are kind of witnessing American decay in real time. Like there's
in more ways than one.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
All
like
of the empire.
I was gonna say we are, we are kind of existing in the death throes. We're in the death cycle of capitalism right now.
It can last a long time. Don't get too excited.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're not seeing the end of it.
Yeah.
But
Rome didn't fall in a day either, folks.
Yeah, there we go. You can't
That's going to be the name of your book about the downfall of the process.
That's the end of the process.
Yeah.
As it lingers on Joel Embiid 35.
God.
No, but I mean, look, I'll say this much. I look around having watched some of this FIBA stuff. Canada lost to Serbia.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to be Serbia versus Germany in the finals, which is really weird. And also, that was the beginning of World War I. So that's a fun little.
Hopefully all the world leaders are keeping safe.
Yeah, exactly.
The Franz Ferdinand Bowl.
Yeah.
Franz Wagner, Franz Ferdinand. No one's liking this. This is bad.
Oh, Jesus Christ. The second Franz to begin a world war. That's great. Yeah. Let's hope someone doesn't take him out if you get that reference.
Hey, all right.
Yeah. But so you have Serbia and Germany in the finals, Canada and America for the bronze medal game. And even like the Canadian team is filled with NBA talent. Like you have Dylan Brooks, you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you have Lou Dort, all these guys who are legitimate rotation players in the NBA, if not all-stars like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And they got honestly, they got kind of their ass kicked by Serbia, who was being led by Bogdan Bogdanovic. And it just shows you that this level of, first off, like I said, I do think from the American perspective, I think the Canadian guys have a lot of pride for sure too. But I do think like this just means more to Serbia and Germany because they've never been there before in a way that it just can't really matter as much to Americans. Like they don't live and die with this shit.
Well, and they're thinking about the championship. Like they're thinking about an NBA championship. They're not thinking about it doesn't really count as much.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not like once again, it's expected. So when it doesn't happen, it's kind of shocking. But like the Serbian team, also another team that has, they have some NBA talent, but the majority of their NBA talent is one NBA role player who's like a good player. But next time we come around, if the Olympics next year, if we get, I'm really interested to see what happens. Because if we get Joel Embiid and Wemby playing for France, and we get Jokic playing for Serbia again with this kind of, they have some up and coming talent on that Serbia team. Bogdanovic is at the end of his career or in the middle of his career. And then you also potentially have Giannis and his brothers playing for Greece. Like it's gonna be more competitive. The Canadian team, Jamal Murray didn't play in this FIBA World Cup. Andrew Wiggins didn't play in this. Like, there are going to be some real like, even with the A team, I think they're gonna get pushed in a way that they have not gotten pushed in quite some time in the next Olympics. So I don't think just because of this FIBA World Cup B team losing, I don't think that it means that the A team is for sure going to just roll over these teams, because those teams are also missing a lot of NBA talent, and they're missing guys that would be by far their best players, like Giannis and Jokic. So I'm just really interested to see what happens between now and next year and who decides to play, because I do think that how far teams make it in the playoffs is going to have to do with that as well. Absolutely. Like Jokic usually plays, but he didn't play this time. And keep in mind, Jokic and Giannis, someone pointed out to me, like, Jokic and Giannis played in Eurobasket last year, and they didn't even win Eurobasket. So, like, it doesn't mean just because you have the number 1A guy that you're automatically going to win, because if you were to rank the best players on USA versus Germany, USA would have 7 of the 8 best players. Or some
absolutely.
Shit. It doesn't and it didn't even matter. And Dennis Schroeder is absolutely cooking. Like, I mean, Furkan Korkmaz looks like fucking Steph Curry in some of these games.
It's because he shaved the bad hairline is why Dennis Schroeder is
that's fine.
He's back. He ditched the bad voodoo.
Well, he's getting away from the toxic Laker fans and going to the never mind. Oops, sign with the Raptors. I forgot.
I do think that's like what's cool about like thinking about this is thinking about how desperate LeBron might be to take the Jordan mantle and like
he's going to play
an Olympic team.
Yep.
And like how many commercials we'll see about that.
Oh yeah. No,
what if it's just like, honestly, what if it's his last, like, what if he retires after? That would be the real, like, but then again, like, we won gold in the Olympics last time. It's not like the redeem team where like, we lost, and the FIBA thing is just different. Like I just don't think as many people care about FIBA in America, so that's why they don't put their A squad out there, and these guys need to get rest during the off season as well.
I do wonder if people care more now that we lost, right? Like I do think there's something about America that, even if we're not paying attention, if we find out an American thing has lost,
what?
You get so mad.
Yeah, right.
Like, I mean, like, that's not surprising, but like, no. It's still like in practice, it's still weird. Like, where it's like no one cares about FIBA, but I'm sure you can turn on sports radio now and hear people opining about the decline of American football. Just learning about this yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's going to change things. Like, I wonder if people will care more about this moving forward, or use it as a way to, I don't know, launder credibility.
I mean, look, I know a way. If the NBA will never get on board with this, but it's something Sam and I talk about all the time. Shorten the fucking season. Yeah. Shorten the season. They can't play 81 games and then the playoffs and then also go play internationally as well. Like, it's insane to expect. It's even guys that are like in great shape and like are legitimately like guys that are known for playing around the clock, like Tatum and Jokic, are just like, no, I can't do this all the time. If you want people to care. Also, I do want to add that the COVID wrinkle is part of this as well, because the Olympics were pushed back a year. So this would have been the 3rd straight summer for Jokic playing internationally. And he played into June in the NBA as well. So, and then for guys like Tatum, obviously didn't play in Eurobasket, but he played in the last World Cup. He played in the last Olympics, and they want to save themselves for next summer. So it will be interesting. I'm excited to see who ends up showing up next year. If I had to guess right now, I think it's going to be the last hurrah for, like, I think Steph will come back. I think it'll be the last hurrah for him and LeBron. I think Devin Booker and Tatum will come. I think it will be all the guys.
I bet Durant comes too.
Maybe. I'm not sure. Durant plays every Olympics. So, like, yeah, I guess it would be his last one, because he's going to be 35 or 36. So, yeah, so Durant probably too. And guys that are more generally balanced as players. I like Halliburton, and I like some of these guys. Like Reeves was the best offensive player for the team last yesterday, but he was also getting cooked by Dennis Schroeder and targeted on every single possession. So to
Right.
have more guys that are two-way players that won't be as easily targetable in these situations, I think it's going to be super beneficial. Like last Olympics, we saw Zach LaVine playing great defense. Like those are the kind of competitors that this team probably will need that can kind of step up for these international competitions.
I'm really to back to the point. I just wanted to make this. The other thing that I think is really interesting just about terms of international play, you have a lot of guys, because that's kind of the structure of a basketball team, is you do need the alpha guy. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes having too many of the alpha guy can mess things up. But if you have like one clear guy, there's going to be so many other teams besides USA who are going to have really solid number one options in the Olympics. Like, take like fucking Finland. That's not going to be like a freebie. Like, Lauri Markkanen, like, can probably like hoop a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Before you even get to
he
guys,
was the best player in Eurobasket last year.
Yeah.
He was amazing. Yeah.
So like, this is before you even get to like, Luka and Slovenia and, Serbia and Jokic and Greece and Giannis, like, even a team like fucking Kyle Anderson leading the China team, like that's like not gonna be like free. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's like what happened with the WBC this year, right? Like you sort of like it's easy to forget when like the central sort of like competitive league is in the US, but like
we are the world champions.
Yeah, exactly. But like a lot of like I mean like and I do understand why people get mad about that, but also I mean MLB, NBA, I mean these are the superior leagues. Like
also, where do all the best players in these international competitions play?
In the NBA and the MLB.
Exactly. So that guy's point still doesn't make sense.
It's like soccer. Well, it's like getting mad at like an MLS team never says they're world champions.
No,
they should.
Yeah.
Europe would light itself on fire.
They'd be so mad. It's like,
you're world champions. Inter
like
Miami.
They'd be showing up, setting off flares in the stadium.
That'd be funny. They just structure the world championship that where like whoever wins Champions League gets to play the MLS champion.
That would be cool. I would watch that game.
Yeah, it's like Delaware playing Penn State today.
Delaware did get a touchdown.
Yeah, they got a touchdown. I got to give it to them. They did have
and I think Inter Miami could get one touchdown.
One
touchdown.
With Messi? Is Messi playing? Because I think they could.
Yeah. 6 points.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like it is like the thing with sorry, my mic flew out. It is the thing with like the WBC too, where like the assumption is the US will win, or the assumption is even like Japan or a Latin American country might win, and it's just like it's amazing as. I think it has a lot to do with like the way the world is structured around like the internet and things like that today. But like, it's amazing thinking about the ways that like you have people playing the sport in like areas that they never did before.
Sure.
Right? Like that always happened with soccer, but like now you have people in Slovenia, people in Finland playing like insanely high level basketball, insanely high level baseball. And it's like, okay, wait, the whole power structure we thought was real through like the 90s and the early 2000s is no longer real all of a sudden. And it makes it super exciting and super weird.
What Trev is trying to say is that globalization is good and we need to support it.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. That's why we had you on the podcast.
I'm sick of these woke ideologues saying that my shipping needs to be higher.
God, we need an American Union to rival the European Union.
All right, before we get canceled here, let's go behind the Patreon wall. So that's the end of the free portion. If you would like to, get access to the Ball Discord, also get bonus episodes. We did our fantasy draft earlier. You can hear that on the Ball Patreon as well. Sign up. The link is in the description. We'll probably end up going here for a few hours. So if you want to hear the rest of this.
Yeah. And hey, you guys have been asking for the video games one. Well, spoiler alert. Trev's here. This is the video game part. So if we're
talking video games, we're talking NBA 2K, we're talking some Persona, we're also talking some NFL stuff as well. So
exciting.
Link is in the description. Sign up for the Ball Patreon today.